Hello everyone. There's a bit of a situation. The display screen on my camera is black. Like, I can't see it. So usually, I still have it up for no reason. I use it a lot to make sure that this, I'm happy with how it's framed. I have no idea. Maybe I should just try and make myself more central. I don't know. The reality is that it's incredibly annoying, and I don't, I hope there's a solution, basically, but I obviously wanted to record, and it's already 10 minutes later than I would ordinarily record. This might have to be a short episode because, it's a technical difficulty, so don't know what to make of that. But essentially, for all I know, the camera might not even be usable. What I did is I checked to see whether or not it would let me record, and it did work, so that's cool. The other issue, though, is that I realized, of course, it might not tell. So what happens is, every half an hour, the recording stops automatically, so you have to, reset it. And I don't know whether or not, because obviously the way I would usually do it is I would see it, but I can't see anything on the screen now. There's a potential workaround. It's a very irritating one. It honestly might be worth doing, though, so it might be what I end up doing, which is that I do actually have something that allows me to transfer my camera display onto my computer. So maybe that's what I'd have to do. I don't think I can financially justify buying a new camera because this camera is good, and I don't want to get another one, so we'll see. But yeah, isn't that annoying? I have no idea. For all I know, this is insanely dark or insanely bright. I almost would feel like, oh, maybe I should do that whole setup thing now, but you've been waiting for me long enough. You know what? Okay, actually, let's try it. You can see me do this. So here it is. This is the thing. So what I would do traditionally is I would then, my stomach just rumbled. Yeah, sorry about this. It's just such a significant technical difficulty to have happened. I've never had. My camera just completely stopped working like this. Well, so I now know the only thing that doesn't work is the screen itself. So the display is I can see it on my screen. In fact, what I can actually do just for you is if I click start recording, you can see that I have the so that's what I'm looking at right now. This is what my camera display should look like. Unfortunately, I can't turn the camera around and show you what the display does look like, but spoiler alert, it's black. I've just got a big black screen. Anyway, alright. I feel like this is one of those solutions which maybe I could use indefinitely just because I don't want to have to buy a new camera, but I'd definitely much rather be able to look at the camera, and in looking at the camera also be able to check how I look as I'm delivering to the camera. Whatever. Alright, so I guess we'll now just jump in. I was going to say a whole thing, it's not that exciting, but basically that you guys voted for one of the first videos that was ever put onto the thing. So if you're interested, the very first video in my shortlist that was ever put on there is, well, not necessarily it was ever put on there, but that was put on there first, I haven't responded to yet, is the trans panic. But the next video is how conservatives created and cancelled gender. Oh, which is now, sorry, I didn't realize, it's actually changed now to how conservatives invented gender ideology. So the title of the video has changed. I should, I'm going to change that on here. How conservatives invented gender ideology. Now that's interesting, because the thing about gender ideology is that I usually use the term trans ideology, and that is much less ambiguous, so we'll see. I always have a sense of almost like a sense of actually deep despair whenever a technological thing, especially a technological thing that I need, doesn't work. If my phone breaks, I'm just because well, again, there's need and there's need. my phone is how I set my alarm in the morning. It's what I kind of like listen to when I'm going to sleep. You know, it's like what I get my like little sleep meditations on. It's obviously what I use to contact people on like WhatsApp or whatever. It's how I drive. I drive using my phone because it's what has my maps on it. So in situations where my phone's broken, I've just been like I've had just a deep sense of helplessness. And that's exactly what's happening here. The fact that my camera is very important to what I do, and it's not broken, but not great either. Let's just jump in.
The doctor stumbled through a questionnaire he had never read before. He asked me why I wanted to transition from...
What do you mean? Like, it's a stumble through a questionnaire he'd never read before? I mean, that's... How do you know that? That's so interesting. Like, it's just... Is that just a guess?
I told him the story he wanted to hear. Ever since I was a young child, I've been a boy trapped in a girl's body, and during puberty, I became ever more uncomfortable with my body.
I feel like this is like a new thing for like the trans stuff. I don't know where it came from, but this whole thing of like, oh, there's a story that you're supposed to tell as a trans person, and trans people are forced to tell that story. And I don't really know where that came from, because like I'm not forcing them to tell that story.
These words aren't really mine, but I'm not allowed to say that. 10 years later, it's dangerous to say that. It's even more dangerous to be who I am.
What do you mean? Like, why is it dangerous to say? Well, it's dangerous to say that you... Well, again, the thing is, it doesn't matter to me. Obviously, like, for trans medicalists, maybe it makes a difference, but, again, it's kind of like... One of the issues with this is if you're complaining about, oh, there's this particular idea of what it's supposed to mean to be trans, and we're, like, forced to conform to that idea, the first question that I would then think is, well, then what does it mean to be trans? Because you can't complain about this expectation without then having an explanation of what the alternative is.
Back to the Cass review. When it claimed insufficient evidence in support of gender-affirming care for children, what does that mean?
I feel like we're probably not really going to like go, because considering this video is like an hour and a half, and I've already spoken about the Cass review via my response to Vorsh, which you're welcome to seek out. It is annoying that on Patreon I can't do the whole thingy. So unless something really interesting is said, I'm just going to like watch this in silence, which again will probably make this shorter episode than usual, even shorter, because it's going to be loads of stuff for me cutting out. Fun, fantastic. I'm angry. No, it's okay, it's fine. I found a solution. It's not a great solution. I feel sorry for this individual because, you know, I'm responding to this video by this person, this first video ever from them that I'm responding to, and it's just been completely overshadowed by the fact that my camera's not working. Isn't that annoying? I'd be annoyed if someone responded to one of my videos and then they were just like the overwhelming thing that I knew was in the back of their mind the whole time was, isn't it so annoying that my camera's not working right now? Anyway.
The NICE report claims that much of the available evidence was low quality because the studies weren't double-blind randomized control.
You know what? I think maybe we'll skip this because this doesn't have anything to do with conservatives inventing gender ideology, and the video is very long. I don't know. Look, I actually think I've got pretty good at constructing a video over my time making YouTube videos, and one of the things is I genuinely feel like, take any of my videos, I really don't think there are very many of them where you could argue that there is at all any significant portion of the video that isn't directly relevant to the topic at hand. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about like these reaction videos where obviously like I do talk about like other stuff, because I'll often have a little thing at the beginning where I'll be like, hey everyone, here's what happened in my week or whatever. Like I'll usually start off by saying a thing or two about like what's been going on with me. But in the case of my like scripted videos where, you know, like I put them on the main channel and all that, I genuinely feel like you would be hard pushed to find any of my videos on that topic, or any of my videos where the topic of the video and the content of the video doesn't entirely line up for almost every single minute of it with the title of the video. So it annoys me when I watch videos called like how conservatives invented gender ideology, and then it's like, okay, you're talking about, you know, the Cass review. That's not really got anything to do with like gender ideology. So I'm gonna do some skipping. Okay.
Then I changed my name again, started selling bootleg DVDs, and have been a fugitive ever since. Transitioning saved my life. If I didn't start hormone
I don't believe you. You can't say that. You can't say that something saved your life.
was absolutely necessary if I wanted to live a healthy and fulfilling life. And now, if I wanted to live one, I could.
It's this thing, right? I mean, I make fun of it before always. Like, I've never, like, for all these trans people talk about, oh, I want to live my best life, blah, blah, blah. I've never encountered a trans person who is doing, I think I literally spoke about this last week, but the basic things I would say, oh, that person's like living a fantastic life. That person's got like an aspirational life where everything they're doing, like, wow, like they're really taking care of their mental health, taking care of their physical health. It's clear this is someone who just has a joie de vie. Is that the phrase? Joie de vie? I don't know, anyway. Yeah, but again, we've got another example of that not being the case.
And deny kids some life-saving, gender-affirming care. That's kind of psychological torture. And according to the data, people don't like psychological torture. So it's likely that a lot of kids would probably end up dropping out.
Okay, look, the problem with saying, like, psychological torture is that you're talking about something that you're not doing, which, for the record, could not have been done. Like, I don't know when, like, puberty blockers were invented, but it certainly wasn't quite recently. At most, maybe a few decades, but I'm not even sure about that the first ever child was put on puberty blockers specifically for reasons relating to trans identity. So it kind of makes the label torture meaningless if you're saying that something is torture that just happened to everyone until a few years ago. Like, clearly that is completely meaningless to say I'm being tortured because I'm living my life the way that everyone lived their life until within the lifetime of people still around today. There are people today who can remember when no child was put on puberty blockers. So do they like, oh wow, what was it like to live in a time when everyone was being tortured? That must have been crazy. Ridiculous.
Because the public has well-meaning, nuanced, good-faith, gluten-free questions about the safety of a small group of children they've likely never interacted with, right?
The cast.
Yeah, okay, so like there are many, many examples where what's happening to a tiny, tiny number of children would be something that the public is concerned with if they think that would be damaging for their health. Like, there's always, I mean, I would say like any policy issue that's going to be affecting children that the public's going to be concerned about, it's likely to be about a very small group of children. I'm very concerned about what's happening to blind children, to children who have any sort of disability. I'm concerned for children who are like in foster care. I don't know exactly what proportion of children that would be in all those different cases, but I mean, obviously it's not the majority, and likewise a number of children who identify as trans is not the majority, but I'm still concerned for their health, I'm concerned for their well-being, so I don't want them put on irreversible puberty blockers that damage their physical health. And that's like, how's that illegitimate?
Perhaps they're gender non-conforming kids whose parents saw a documentary about trans kids and thought it warranted further questioning. Perhaps they're kids who, ever since they could talk, insisted that they're a different gender than the one assigned to them at birth. There's a wide range of people referred to gender services.
I don't think there's a meaningful distinction between those two things that we just said. One of them was a kid saying, boy stuff, woo, and the other one was a more fancy way of saying, boy stuff, woo. But at the end of the day, any child, them saying, oh, I don't identify with the gender assigned to me at birth, the only thing that can possibly mean is I don't like the idea of, like, basically that there's boy stuff and girl stuff. Or, rather, I don't like the fact that I'm considered to be a boy, but I prefer girl stuff, or I'm considered to be a girl, and I prefer boy stuff. Those are... That's all you're saying when you say... Like, when... Even when modern... Sorry, not modern. Even when adult trans activists or trans identifying people talk about like, oh, gender roles, blah blah blah, literally that's all they're saying. They're saying I like woman stuff but I'm a man, or I like man stuff but I'm a woman. There's nothing more sophisticated to it than that.
The waiting list for an initial consultation for gender identity services is years. That's just for the first appointment to even be referred for the medical treatment in the first place.
See, this is one of those things where like when people say this, I'm like, so based on like what you're saying, like logically if what you're saying is true, then there shouldn't be any kids on puberty blockers. Because if it takes years to get one appointment and you have to get 6, and what you're implying there is that maybe it takes a significant amount of time between each appointment, then you would age out of being a kid before you ever actually even get there. So clearly, like, by their own logic, they're lying. Like, they must be misrepresenting things, because I think, and I don't know, like, I've always wondered, I mean, I know I could find out, like, where this comes from, but I don't really care. Because, like, either way, we know it's not accurate because, like I say, these people have a whole thing about how there are kids who go on puberty blockers, and that's good that those kids can go on puberty blockers. Well, if there are kids going on puberty blockers, they must be getting there somehow, despite all these limitations. So I wonder whether or not, like, part of this list is just including people who maybe show some interest and then don't even bother following up on it. So their waiting list time is considered, like, infinite, basically. I'm not sure.
As trans people, we rarely get the chance to contribute to popular public narratives about our own lives.
Yeah, you do. You're given lots of platforms. It's just that what you say makes no sense. I mean, certainly you get more chance than gender-critical people do. Like, that's undeniable because, you know, you have, like, I mean, like, trans stuff is taught in schools. Do people learn about the gender-critical issues and objections to trans ideology? No.
We're often introduced to the public by dude bros with microphones who problematize our existence.
Yay, that's me. Oh, okay, well, that's not me. Sometimes I do think, like, maybe Matt Walsh and I look more similar than I'd like to admit. I mean, not that it's necessarily bad. Frankly, I can't grow as thick of a beard as that, and it upsets me.
When was the last time a politicized campaign to save the kids ever was?
I mean, like, that definitely has happened before. You know, you can't just assume, because sometimes people talk about saving the kids and they're being illegitimate in doing so, that therefore, like, that means every single time someone says... I mean, like, I've pointed this out before, right? Like, people have genuinely said, well, you know, J.K. Rowling says she wants to save the kids, but do you know who else wants to save the kids? The Nazis! And it's like, obviously that's just complete nonsense. Just because sometimes people have done this thing illegitimately doesn't mean every single time someone talks about doing it that therefore they're also being illegitimate.
Is about the perceived threat that trans people pose to a system of oppressive gendered control that...
Sorry, okay, so just to clarify, trans ideology is a system of oppressive gendered control.
Under this framework, right-wing commentators turn transgender people into transgender isms, into evil abstractions.
Okay, so just to clarify, like, there is, in many, many examples, there are the group of people who believe something, and then there is the belief itself. Fortunately, and thankfully I can see this, I'm about to run out of, I'm about to hit my 30-minute mark, so give me one moment.
Well, everyone, I just did the stupidest thing I've ever done in the history of this thing that I'm doing here now. So, when I fiddled with the camera, I didn't think to myself that obviously all the fiddling I was doing with wires could very realistically have kind of knocked and dislodged my microphone, even though I have in the past dislodged my microphone and had issues, you know, like, and that's been a problem. And therefore, like, usually when I'm recording, it's not a problem though, because I don't touch it. This time, even though I was, like, fiddling around that area as I, like, fiddled with my wires, I didn't think, oh yeah, maybe I've actually dislodged my microphone. So, I dislodged my microphone, meaning that we now have a situation where the camera is the only audio you're going to get until I realize this, which will be in, like, half an hour's time. And now I'm going to start recording the rest of the video, having tried to fix my camera issue and not being able to fix it at all. This really has not been a successful venture. This has been a total disaster, and I just hope that you'll stick with me next week, because I'm gonna work on fixing this. But, like, at the end of the day, you know, we play the hands we're dealt. So I apologize, everyone, and I hope you forgive me. Well, everybody, here I am at the end with, well, not fixed, but relatively it's fixed, because at least now I've got my microphone and my camera working in sync. But to clarify a point, my camera is still... this is over now. Like, I would imagine that this was like a 15-minute video. this must have been very disappointing. But I mean, bear in mind, like just a record, bear in mind that there are some days where, or some weeks where I don't do the bonus video at all because I'm on holiday or whatever. I mean, there's definitely going to be, you know, before the year is out, a few weeks where I don't do a video. So just bear that in mind. This isn't like don't think of this as like, you know, oh, this guy did a really short video. What a slacker. You should think of it in terms of, well, you know, sometimes there's not a video at all. So the fact there's any video, yay, even if it's very bad quality and very short. Anyway, yeah, so don't worry. Next week, it will be better. The fact is, though, the camera still doesn't work. What I decided to do, so I'm not going to lie, basically, I posted in Reddit just now because I was like, you know, there's no point me continuing with this. Let's just, you know, like eat into my allotted recording time because this is just enough of this. Like, what's the point? Okay, I'll like record for another 10 minutes and get 10 minutes of footage like this. Yeah, sure. You know, it would, but like, I'm just happy to have this video be in practical terms a write-off, but I'm not going to go back and like record, you know, all of my response to what I've responded to so far again. So therefore, I'm uploading it. For the true hardcore fans, I hope you enjoyed seeing whatever I salvaged from this. But, yeah, I didn't see the point in like adding on the end 10 minutes of me that maybe is in better quality. So I was like, well, let's just dedicate this time now so that, you know, because obviously I didn't allot any time in my schedule to sorting out this whole camera issue. So I was like, let's just make a Reddit post because I was looking around, for some reason, like a lot of the well, I don't know if I should say for some reason, it's not like it's some big shock, but a lot of the things, the things people were saying were like for issues that were noticeably not to do with my issues. So there was a lot of stuff about DSLRs. I don't own a DSLR. Also people saying like it'd be like no display, but then you'd actually read like their description of the issue and they'd be like, oh, it's just that the brightness is very low. So, well, okay, yeah, the brightness is really low. Like, you know, obviously that sounds like it maybe makes the camera less usable. So hopefully they can fix that. But clearly that's not the same as what I have, which is literally a black screen. Lots of other things people were saying, like that the camera, they were like, oh, there's no display, but then you read it and it'd be like, there's no display when they like hold the camera at a certain angle, which, okay, yeah, again, also annoying, but that's not the situation here. Like there's, you know, I've been moving the camera all over the place. Like people talking about like the display intermittently disappearing. For me, it's just like not there at all. So essentially, lots of problems, but none of them related to mine. So I was just like, well, let's try Reddit. But I really don't like Reddit nowadays. For some reason, I always find like I post the most earnest questions on Reddit and I get downvoted immediately. Like I'm like, hey, can I get some, let's see what's happened here. Okay, no, haven't been downvoted. Good. But yeah, we'll see. It would be nice if there was a solution, but maybe there won't be. And that will be unfortunate. I mean, the only thing I'm aware of is that I'm looking at, so I have the display up here. I'm looking there much more often now because I'm, you know, checking the display. Whatever. All right. Yeah. Apologies. I hope you're okay. And it would be nice if it's fixed. I mean, yeah. A new camera is a considerable expense. It's a considerable expense. I'm sorry, even if you're disappointed with this, you can't cancel your Patreon subscription. If anything, you need to increase it by orders of magnitude because a new camera is a considerable expense. All right, let's go. Bye.